Long way, get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, long shit, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way. Gotta get the shit the long way. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get the shit the long way. Tryna get money every single way. Tryna get money every single day. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves. No, we gotta finish rich. No, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit. Tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get the shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my palm strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a palm way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done Tari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man. Said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get the shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the palm way, yeah. Man, I'ma get the shit the long way, get the shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear the mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, for me, yeah. So we gon' get the shit the long way, 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 yeah, we get the shit the long way, yeah, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Try something different here. Pokey Beats. His link is in the description of the video to his videos. It's a young man that said I could use his beats a while ago, but Ramil showed me an easier way to do it, and so I tried it out, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool. I ain't gonna lie, pretty cool. What's up, everybody? Hello, and if you're new to the channel, my name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where slaves live. Now, there's two kinds of slaves. There's unconscious slaves and there's conscious slaves. Unconscious slaves can't see negative numbers. They can't see negative numbers. Let me give an example. For somebody that believes they're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage, if you put in your mortgage payment minus open your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. Now, is the calculator showing the calculator showing a large negative number? Excuse me. But if you still believe you're a homeowner, you are what's called an unconscious slave. Conscious slaves were once unconscious. Now they believe. Now they believe the calculator. They believe what the calculator is telling them. Hence, they can now see negative numbers. Now they're doing whatever it takes to turn those negative numbers into positive numbers, which is their true net worth. Now that was me for the first till age 40. I didn't wake up till age 40. I didn't start to see negative numbers until I got out of debt, right? And I didn't know what I'm telling you guys today. I didn't even know that till to this day. Anyway, so I knew something was wrong. Long story short, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey basically said, take the math, the arithmetic that we all learned in grade school, apply it to your finances, and you'll win with money using these baby steps. That's what I did. But I discovered it was just simple mathematics. It had nothing to do with religion. So I stripped out the religion part of Dave Ramsey's philosophy, because it doesn't matter. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what religion you are. So it has nothing to do with religion. And even the part in his baby step 4, he says, when you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% away to retirement. But if you can't see negative numbers, for example, if you decide to do that and you open up your calculator again and put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, that will be a large negative number. Now, if you believe you can put away 15% away from retirement using that amount of negative dollars, you are an unconscious slave, because you obviously cannot see negative numbers. Unconscious slaves cannot see negative numbers. So if you believe that, that's just what you believe. Okay, but it's not true. All right. This is what SMD teaches. They teach, we help give you the ability to see negative numbers. Millions cannot see negative numbers, millions. If they could, the housing market wouldn't exist. Car lots wouldn't exist. Credit cards wouldn't exist. Student loan debt would not exist, because it could not exist. All right. 1 second here. What's up, K for Business? What I do is give you the ability to be able to see negative numbers, something millions of people cannot, period. Even, let me give you an example of what I mean by being able to see negative numbers. Now, everybody knows the famous quote by Mr. Einstein, Albert Einstein, where he says compound interest is the 8th world of the wonder, or whatever. And he says something like, those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it. Well, Mr. Einstein left out a huge, ginormous piece of that statement. He didn't tell you the type of compound interest. There's two. No, he didn't tell you that there are 2 types of compound interest. There's negative compound interest. There's positive compound interest, but there's also negative compound interest. Positive compound interest, people who earn it. Negative compound interest, people who pay it. That's the difference. Once you understand this, your whole world will change. That's why the SMD channel is unlike any other channel on YouTube, let alone the internet. When's the last time have you ever heard somebody say the ability to see negative numbers? Now, I want you guys that follow that understand when I say this out loud. Unconscious slaves have no idea what I'm saying when I say I have the ability to see negative numbers. They have no idea what that means. This is why I'm able to say it out loud. But if you are one of the people wandering around the debt matrix, knowing something's wrong, you just can't put your finger on it, no matter how much money you make, no matter where you move, no matter how many raises you get, no matter what new job you get paying more, you seem to be always in the same situation. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you can't see negative numbers, it doesn't matter. One plus one equals 2. If you're Black, white, Chinese, Jewish, African American, it doesn't matter. 1 plus 1 equals 2. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter. The real gauge, that what they need to do is sit down a census, what they'll never do, because you guys don't have the ability to see negative numbers. All they have to do is send out a census to say which ethnic group trusts math the most. That's all they have to do. Which group of people trust math the most? And then right there, you'll know who has the most money. Right there. That's how easy it is. That's how simple it is. But if you don't have the ability to see negative numbers, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So if you're one of the people out there that think it has something to do with the color of your skin, if the person's college educated, if they live in a certain area, they belong to a certain family, none of that means nothing. The only thing you'd be concerned about, do they have the ability to see negative numbers? If the answer is no, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're a doctor, lawyer, pharmacist, six-figure earner, successful business owner, if whatever you deem successful, that by the way. If they can't see negative numbers, it's no point in having a relationship with them. They unconscious slaves don't know. All you have to do is one look at their personal credit report will tell you everything about that person. One look at their personal credit report will tell you everything. How come people don't know that? Because they can't see negative numbers. That's why I have the ability to see negative numbers. That's how it works. That's the answer. Let me give you an example and I rarely do this because I want to, but I do this to help unconscious slaves understand when they hear me say that. Okay. So remember, everything I say, I can 100% prove with a calculator. Remember that. I'm never ever wrong. As long as I agree with the calculator and the calculator's never wrong, I'm never wrong because I agree with the calculator. So if you ever hear me say I'm never wrong, that's what I mean, because I agree with the calculator. Now, if you believe you're a homeowner, right? Open up your calculator and I want you to put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. Now the calculator is showing you a large negative number. Now here's the glitch in the debt matrix if you ever want to leave. If you still believe you're a homeowner while looking at that large negative number, you're an unconscious slave. What I just told you, you can't see negative numbers. That's why you think you're a homeowner, even though the calculator is showing you that you're not. You're unconscious. If you believe you have equity in your house right now, that same number, does the calculator say you have equity in your house? That's a large negative number. You don't have no equity in a house you don't own. If they could see, as the topic of this video about student loan debt, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than basic arithmetic. Slaves cannot see negative numbers. Now, if you're deep in student loan debt, you can't buy a house if you have student loan debt. There's only one way to buy a house, and that's cash. There is no other way to buy a house. Buy is a noun. Buying is a verb. If you had cash to buy a house, would you walk up to the person selling the house? Hey, I'm here to buying this house. Would you say it like that? Or would you say, I'm here to buy this house? If you had cash, that's what you would say. I'm here to buy this house. You wouldn't say, I'm here to buying this house. That doesn't even make sense, does it? That's the same thing as what the calculator is saying right now. Negative dollar, you can't spend negative dollars. That's impossible. Nobody that has student loans, if you're listening to this right now, if you have student loans and it's older than your mortgage, you are so far from being a homeowner, your head will spin off. The reason why you believe you can't see negative numbers. Let me give you another example for those of you that I know that are not getting it. I know you're like, what? What's that mean? Say and we're going to keep the numbers low so you guys can have an idea of what I'm saying. Okay. Say you saved up $20,000 to put down on a house. Okay. But you have $50,000 in student loan debt. Okay. So since you can't see negative numbers, I'm going to tell you what you can't see. If the house is $300,000 and you only have $20,000, that means you're short $280,000 to buy the house. You can't buy a house with $20,000. That's number one. Number two, If you have $50,000 in student loan debt and you saved up $20,000 for a down payment, if you open up the calculator and put in 20,000 minus 50,000, that equals negative 30,000. You don't have $20,000 of anything to put anywhere. But again, since you can't see negative numbers, you can't see what the calculator's telling you. I have the ability to see negative numbers. Now think about how many people believe they're homeowners with student loans older than their mortgage. They're not homeowners. You know why they don't know that? They can't see negative numbers. But at the same time, that is necessary because the economy could not exist without slaves. It could not. That's how they make slaves, with student loan debt. The only way to get out of student loan debt, you have to pay off every single penny with hard work, or however you make money, however you choose to make money. That's the only way to get out of student loan debt. You have to pay them off. They're not going to forgive student loan debt. You guys are owned. Do you understand that? It don't matter what kind of car you drive. It doesn't matter what kind of house you live in. It doesn't matter how many vacations you go on. It doesn't matter. If you got student loan debt, you're owned. You're owned until you pay it off. You know why student loan debt it seems to be the hot topic right now? Because your forbearance is coming to an end. You guys have no money to pay. It doesn't matter if it started 5 months from now. It doesn't matter. You guys have no money to pay it. You're in a negative. That's why it's the hot topic. Student loan forgiveness. You guys just hoping and praying. But at the same time, what people don't know, a lot of people are signing up for student loan debt believing that it's going to get forgiven. Do you know they only do that to people that can't see negative numbers? Do you guys understand that? It's not the student loan debt that's holding you back. It's you. Because if you got student loan debt, you probably have a mortgage. You probably have car payments. You probably have credit card payments. It's you. It's not the student loan debt. It's you. Since you can't see negative numbers, you don't know you can't finance a car if you have student loan debt. You can't do that. You can't buy, no, excuse me, I said that wrong. You can't buy a car if you have student loan debt. You can't buy a car. That's impossible. That's why you got to finance it. If your student loans are older than your cell phone, older than the cell phone in your hand, that's why you're financing your cell phone, because you can't buy a cell phone while having student loan debt. You can't do that. The only reason why a person would finance a cell phone, because they can't see negative numbers. That's why they can't see them. Else you would never do that. If you don't have the money to buy a house, there is no option of buying a house. The only reason why slaves believe they can buy a house with no money, they can't see negative numbers. That's why. You guys are going to hear about student loans more and more closer to September 30th. It's coming to an end. They're going to extend it. There's nothing that's going to change from the 29th of today until the end of September. It's nothing's going to change. They're still not going to have the money. You know what they're going to do? They're going to push it back, probably to next year. You guys, unconscious slaves, they're going to breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God. And then you know what you guys are going to do? Go get deeper in debt. Have you guys ever wondered why they remove student loan debt from your credit reports? Have you ever just stopped to wonder why that is? So you guys can dig yourself deeper in debt. You don't know just because it doesn't show up on your credit report. It's still there. It doesn't matter if you see it with your eyeballs or not. It's still there. The math doesn't change even if it's not on your credit report. The math is still the same. You're still in a negative, But since you don't know that, so you dig yourselves deeper in debt. By removing the student loan debt from your credit report, it changes your DTI to good or better or whatever it is, whatever they make up, whatever the banks make up, it doesn't really matter. But so you guys can dig yourselves deeper in debt, and then they're going to push it back till next year. You're going to breathe a sigh of relief and get deeper in debt fast, ASAP. And for those of you with the ability to see now, and I want you guys to understand something. I have the ability to see negative numbers, but also I didn't design the system. I didn't make this. It was here before I was born. And I'm just learning it now. What's up, K Business? What's going on? Appreciate that. It's coming. Again, it's a very important show for me as someone who plans on going to community college to avoid major debt. That's very smart to do. And as a young man doing that, I want to give you a word of advice. I am not against student loan debt. I'm not against student loans, student loan debt. Yes, I am. But student loans, I'm not against student loans. If you go to college for 4 years, because some people just don't have the money. If you need college, make sure if you're going to college, make sure you're going for something that you actually need the college to do. If you're trying to be a doctor, of course you got to go to college, of course. But again, if you go to college for 4 years, give yourself 4 years maximum to pay that loan back. I'll pay my way through school to avoid. Hey, that's what you do. That's exactly what you do. Because there is no other way to do it. What's up, Greek Surgeon? What's up, Scout? LJ, I like now how they don't even bring up about canceling student debt. They play they still, it's coming back up right now, Ken. What's up, Amina? It's still there. Student loan debt will always be used because you guys got to remember this. That's the tool used because they know, and this is unfortunate for you guys, for unconscious slaves. They know in your mind, you have given up on ever paying back your student loan debt. You probably think, hey, you think like this. Oh, you only live once. You can't die with money. Slaves start coming up with all kind of sayings of what that really means is this: I'm accepting of being a slave. That's what you're accepting. If you believe you're never paying off your student loan debt, and if you've put your student loan debt in student loan based repayment, one of those payment programs, you pretty much have signed on the dotted line that you're never paying your student loan debt back ever. And they have you. And it's not like they have you because of them. They have you because of yourself. They didn't do anything to you. If you got student loan debt and you think somebody did something to you, no, they didn't. You did it to yourself. Why? You can't see negative numbers. That's why. You can't see that. If you're a person that just went to college to get the money and you spent it on other things, they knew you were going to do that. You just don't know they own you now. You just don't know that. You think you got away with free money? Nobody gets free money. Nobody. Especially slaves that can't see negative numbers, especially you guys. Because if you can see negative numbers, you would know better than to ever do that. If you could see negative numbers, you could see the true purpose of taxes. Once you get out of debt, see negative number, you're like, oh, that's why you don't cheat on your taxes, tax evasion and all that stuff. You know why? Because you don't have to. You don't have to do none of that. You don't have to hide money. You don't have to pretend you made money and hide it in other accounts. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is have the ability to see negative numbers. That's what you have to do. Taxes are the only guaranteed investment every single year to give profits every single year. That's 100% impossible for those who can't see negative numbers. That's impossible for you. That's why you think taxes are bad. And if you have student loan debt, taxes will be bad for you for the rest of your life because you're never paying. If you don't pay off your student loan debt, you can't save money on taxes. That's impossible. If you're one of the people that are happy to write off the interest of student loan debt on your taxes, you think you're doing something. You're not doing anything. That's nothing. You can't write off negative dollars on your taxes. That's impossible. Slaves with student loans are in trouble, right? In the struggle for the, bust for life. Yeah. If you're a person right now that has had their student loans, your student loans are older than your children, you know why that is? You can't see negative numbers, else you'll know better than ever to do that. You would never do that if you understood. If you could see negative numbers, you would know you can't buy it. As long as you have student loan debt, you can't buy anything. And just because there's only one way to buy stuff, and that's cash. And if you're in a negative, you have no cash to do anything. So your whole entire life is a mathematical illusion. If your student loan debts are your oldest debts out of everything in your life, your whole life is a mathematical illusion. Most of the finance channels you guys watch, people that you think are successful, they're just like you. They can't see negative numbers. They have no idea what they're talking about. None, zero. They're telling you guys about investing, stocks and bonds in the stock market, and they can't even see negative numbers. They don't know that. Believe it or not, people like that encourage you to invest while you have student loan debt. Let me tell you something. Those people are important too, believe it or not. Because if you can't see negative numbers, and they obviously can't see negative numbers, you guys are part of this system. This whole economy would not work without people that could not see negative numbers. It could not exist. So they're important too, that are teaching you that, because it's not illegal. If that's your problem, if you don't trust a calculator, that's your problem. If you don't know you can't invest in anything outside of yourself if you have student loan debt, it's because you can't see negative numbers. That's why. If you could, you would. It's, say, for example, like this. Say like you had $5,000 back remember when AMC was taking off, right? Say like you had $5,000 to invest cash in the bank, in your bank account right now, cash under the bed, in cash. It doesn't matter because none of it exists anyway. But if you had $50,000 in student loan debt, if you open up your calculator and put in 5,000 minus 50,000, that's negative $45,000. That's how much money you have to invest in AMC, negative 45,000. Now, if you don't believe the calculator, you can't see negative numbers, and you go ahead and invest in AMC with the $5,000, that's because you can't see negative numbers. You had no money to invest in that. You had no money to invest in AMC because you were negative 45,000. And the reason why if you were one of the people that went on ahead and did it, you know why? Because I just told you can't see negative numbers. That's why. I went to community college, 12,000 in debt today. Thank God it's not 3 times as much like the average. I can't wait to pay this off. Congratulations, 12,000. You're ahead of millions of people already. 12,000. Millions of people would love to have $12,000 in debt right now. Millions. Imagine being in this nightmare. And guess what's going to survive? Guess what's economy proof? It don't matter. Let me tell you guys something. Those of you can't see negative numbers. Guess what can survive an economic meltdown? Guess what can survive? Student loan debt. No matter what happens to the economy, you will always have student loan debt. That's the constant. It won't matter if the stock market crashes. It won't matter if jobs are lost for everybody and they can't work. It doesn't matter. Student loan debt will be there. What's that tell you? That's how they make slaves. By choice. That's by choice. Nobody, and again, I'm not against the economy. I'm not against the way it works. I'm not against any of that. It's a choice. That's what's so wonderful about the US economy. It's a choice. It's really the world economy. It's not just math is worldwide, basically. It's the world economy. It's by choice. You either choose to trust math or you don't. But what it really is, the majority can't see negative numbers. Even though they taught us all about negative numbers in elementary school, they taught us all about negative numbers. I remember it. Everybody does. I remember that number thing, the zero in the middle, positive numbers on the right, negative numbers on the left. Positive is green, negative is red. I remember it being above the chalkboard in my elementary school. Every time I looked at the chalkboard, I looked up and saw that number and graph spread across all the way across the chalkboard. I remember it. I remember about learning about math and money games, how to add money in elementary school, what happens to take away money in elementary school. We had play money at school to do this. I remember it. But it was somehow lost. Do you guys understand? You can pretend if you want to pretend to be in the if you want to pretend to have the ability to see negative numbers, you can pretend right now. You want to know how to do it? Go pick up the game of Monopoly. Okay. All of us have played it. And then I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and I want you to answer to yourself honestly. How many how many of you that played the game of Monopoly, the board game, have ever read the rules on the box of the Monopoly game? How many of you ever read the rules? Probably never. I never read the rules of Monopoly. When I looked at the rules, it had nothing to mention about free money in the middle of the board, joking around, joking about taking money out of the bank, just how to buy. None of that stuff was on the free money goes under the if you pass jail and land. All that's it's not there. None of that is there. All you have to do is play debt free. That's all you got to do. Say, play with your friends. And when you play with them, you say, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to play according to the rules on the box. That alone is going to throw them totally off, but they still won't know. You will have the ability to see negative numbers and they won't. And as soon as you play, you'll win damn near every single time. And they won't know how you're doing it. Then you take what you learned from the game of Monopoly and you apply it to real life. That's it. That's all you have to do. Should I buy some Bitcoin and use the gains to pay off my loans? Exactly. You guys know how many times you guys say that? That's a program. You guys all say that. Hey, how about I get this money? You guys always say other people's money. The rich use other people's money. That is true. That's true. But not the same way you do. You have no choice but to use other people's money because you can't see negative numbers. So you have no choice. That's why you also believe that you can also take other people's money and invest and pay off loans. But they already know if you haven't paid off your loans with your own money and you get some money and you win some money, you're not taking those winnings and paying off debt. They know you're not going to do that. You don't know that. They do. The banks do. Your life couldn't exist without the banks. That's what you guys need to understand that. If you have student loan debt, your life cannot exist without the bank. Why? Because you can't see negative numbers. You think you can buy a house with student loan debt. You're never going to hear information like this anywhere in the world. You're never going to hear another person say, I have the ability to see negative numbers. You're never going to hear another person say that. Once you understand how this works, your dating life is going to change. You're not going to date a person that can't see negative numbers. You're just not. You have student loan debt? Yeah. When you paying them off? Never. See you later. You're not going to procreate with a slave. You're not going to do that. You're not going to legally tie yourself to a person that cannot see negative numbers. You will never do that. You won't care what kind of shirt they're wearing, what kind of clothes they wear. If they're wearing the latest, then they're just popular. It doesn't matter. If they're in debt, they don't own themselves and they can't see negative numbers. It's 100% waste of time dating a person that cannot see negative numbers. You're wasting your time. Maybe this is you. Maybe you're in a house right now and your student loans are older than your mortgage, your subprime mortgage. Because let me tell you something. If you have student loan debt, 9 times out of 10, you have an FHA mortgage. Because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you can't see negative. That's why 3.5% down on a house is attractive to you. You don't know the only way to buy a house is up with 100% of the money. There is no other way. But since you have none, that's attractive to you because you have no money. That's why 3.5% down sounds attractive. If you could see negative numbers and looked at the contract of an FHA mortgage, you would never do that in a million years. But since you don't know, you can't buy a house while having student loan debt, they're going to take financial advantage of you. They're going to financially abuse you due to yourself, not to the banks. The banks are not big bad guys. They're not evil. They're not doing anything wrong. The banks have the ability to see negative numbers. You guys don't. Exactly. See what I'm saying, Amina? Yes, when I had student loan debt, I was encouraged to get a FHA mortgage because that's the only mortgage. FHA mortgages are for people that can't see negative numbers. Because if you could, you would never do that. But since you don't know, you can't buy a house with no student loan debt, they offer you a subprime mortgage like an FHA mortgage. That's why. That's why anybody that's encouraging you to get one, that's business. They're not helping you. That's not a help. Sorry, I'm coming off of a cold here. They're not helping you. That's business. If somebody told you that you can afford a house while having student loan debt, that's business. Business doesn't make financial sense for the consumer. It does for the business owner. It doesn't for the consumer. It doesn't make mathematical sense. But since you can't see negative numbers, you don't know that. Let me also explain something to you with the ability to see negative numbers. When it comes to money, business and personal is the only difference between business money and personal money are taxes. The rules according to taxes. That's it. Everything else is the same. If you can't see negative numbers on the personal side, you can't see negative numbers on the business side either. You just don't magically be able to see something on the business side if you can't see negative numbers on the personal side. So if you believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, you're going to believe you're a business owner with a business loan. Same thing. Nothing's different. If you believe you're a business owner with a business loan, you just believe you're a business owner with a business loan. Same thing it's no different. You think you're over on business writing off money on taxes? No, you're not. That's impossible to write money off on taxes if you can't see negative numbers. That's impossible. Now, when I say write off numbers, of course, yeah, you can see them on paper. Yeah, yeah. You writing off their business stuff on paper, and you're like, oh, okay, I did this, yeah. But I'm talking about the business of you. If you take your business, whatever your business loan payment minus your business loan balance and hit equal, that's your profit. That's your profit until the bank has paid back every single dollar that they loaned you to start the business. That's your profit. Every time you make a kill it and you think you're making bread, put in your business loan payment minus your total business balance and hit equal. That's your profit. Not until you get to zero, on the other side of zero, north of zero, however you want to say it. That's when your profit starts. Now, are there different ways of getting to zero the fastest? Of course there is. Of course there are. But there's no difference between if you can't see negative numbers personally, you can't see negative numbers under business either. So if you're a person with student loans, right, and you're cheating on your taxes, they can see you very easily. You know why? You can't see negative numbers. That's why. You guys are really defenseless. If you're doing like tax evasion and stuff, you're defenseless. You're at a gunfight with no bullets. You don't know you can't see negative numbers. You don't know that. Your lawyer's not going to be able to help you. Your lawyer can't rewrite the laws of mathematics. I don't care what school they went to. And if you have a lawyer that believes they can, this is what you say to them. Are you still paying on your student loan debt? How long have you had your business? 10 years? How old's your student loan debt? 20? That's why they're telling you that, because they have 20-year, their student loan debt is older than their law practice. That's why they can't see negative numbers. The people with student loan debt, they don't know that they don't own the diplomas that are hanging on their walls in the background of every finance channel you see. That's why they do that, because they think it's important. That paper don't mean nothing. If you have student loan debt and you have a finance channel on YouTube right now and your degrees are hanging on the back of your wall, that's to impress other slaves like you. Other people that can't see negative numbers, they're impressed by that stuff. If you have student loans, those pieces of paper on the wall mean absolutely nothing. They only mean something to you and people like you, people that can't see negative numbers. You're just advertising for free with the college you went to. That's all you're doing. That's an advertising for college if you don't own it. What's up, Atticus? Hold on for a quick second. I got to turn on the AC. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Now, if you guys got some questions, please feel free to ask. Here's a link. Do you want to have the ability to see negative numbers? Right here. Consultation, SavingsMinusDebt.com. Details under every video. Shirts are out now. I'm putting statements, these types of statements on every SMD shirt, statements that you have never seen before, ever. These statements will never expire. They'll never get old, ever. You better believe this statement is going on the shirt. The ability to see negative numbers. You better believe that's going on an SMD shirt. I'm about to order that up as soon as I get off this line. I'm about to get that done and order it. Get it done. Wearing that shirt everywhere. You know how many people are going to look at that shirt and say, the ability to see negative numbers? What in the hell does that even mean? I know. The only way you're ever going to know is you're going to have to ask me. And people like that are also wearing this shirt too. I can no longer be intimidated with a woman who is a slave. It's amazing. Exactly. You're not even intimidated. Men that get nervous about when you come across a beautiful woman. This goes for men and women. I'm just giving you the man's point of view because it really doesn't matter. You come across a woman, that's really, really beautiful, and men get really intimidated by that, right? But when you're free and you own yourself and you have the ability to see negative numbers, it won't matter what she looks like if she's $100,000 in student loan debt. That goes for men, women who are free towards men. If you come across a guy and he's everything you think he is, and you find out he has $100,000 in student loan debt and has no intention of ever paying it off, that means that dude or that woman cannot see negative numbers. Obviously, that relationship would be a total waste of time. Because imagine if you have a child by a person that can't see negative numbers, guess what your future is? Court, family court proceedings, payments, lawyers. That is your future, because now they're going to blame that on the kid. Oh man, I'm struggling because of this kid. That's what happens. If you can't repay your college loan in the same amount of time it took you to complete it, you got duped. Sure did. You duped yourself. You're welcome. Hands versus food. You're welcome. Kim says, I am so happy that I don't have any student debt as my parents were able to afford paying for my education. Thank the Lord. You better believe that they did you a huge, ginormous favor for that. Huge. I kept my student loans for 10 years. 10 years. Highly educated, six-figure VMware engineer, tier 3, 4, whatever you want to, all the stupid titles that they give you in IT. I did all that, but I kept my student loan for 10 years, making 6 figures. That makes absolutely no sense. None, zero. $10 years. People keep their student loans. Most people's student loans are older than their children. There's people with student loans in their 50s, 60s. People die with student loan debt. Imagine all the people with student loan debt that didn't even get a degree. They just took the money and just goofed it off. Imagine how many people did that. No degree. Can you imagine? No degree and hundreds of thousands, thousands and thousands of dollars in student loan debt and no degree. Can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine that. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. This is why I love what I do. I have a gift. My gift, the ability to see, I'm gonna keep repeating it, the ability to see negative numbers. That's my gift. I know for a fact millions cannot see. Millions don't have this gift. Millions. Every time you guys see me on somebody's panel, podcast, stage, it won't matter. I'm gonna say the same thing. I have the ability to see negative numbers. I can tell everybody right now, it don't matter. That's my gift. And millions do not. That's my gift. Now tonight I'm gonna be on Young Grump's page. Actually, let me get this link so those of you guys can save the spot. I should have had this ready. I thought I posted in the community area. Let me see. I think I did. Wait, here we go. Yeah, there it is. All right. And a second here. Tonight at 8 o'clock, I want you guys to see how everything is changed now for me. Here is the link to his page. Save that spot. And sorry for the sniffling right in the mic there, but my banner is how do I do this? Okay. Savings minus, wait, let me see. Let me see how that looks. Lumps together like that. SA space now. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta do a whole bunch of spaces. Just checking something real quick here, you guys. Let me see something. No, still sits right next to it. Okay, I gotta figure that out. I'll do that next time. That later. Anyway, if you guys got any questions, maybe you're wrapped up in your student loan debt and you want to know some kind of answer to get out. I mean, that's what I do. I do consultations for people. If you really want to get out and just really don't know how, I can help you save a lot of steps, right? Instead of trying to figure this out yourself, because people out there, there's a lot of noise out there that you guys don't really know. You got a lot of people out there saying things that make no mathematical sense because they don't have the ability to see negative numbers. Yeah, my beneficiary has 15K in student loans, and we are on a plan to pay that off and live debt free. Nice. Nice. Man, nice. He's only 23 years old, single, no children. Wow. Yep. LJ, that shirt going to be in the form of a question. I don't know. I don't know if it should be in a question or not, because I'm saying if I just put it as just a statement, I'm saying I'm thinking SMD. This is what SMD can do for you: the ability to see negative numbers. But I guess I would have to put it in the form of a question, because unconscious slaves wouldn't know what that meant, the ability to see negative numbers, right? Because it's two ways. Am I asking them, or am I just making a statement saying SMD, the ability, basically gives you the ability to see negative numbers? That's what I'm really thinking on the shirt. What do you guys think? Do you think it should be a question, or do you think it should be a statement? I don't know. You guys tell me. It is only people who work in public service sector eligible for student loan forgiveness program. But student loan forgiveness program, 99% of people get denied almost every single year on student loan forgiveness program. They don't know that. The purpose, the true purpose of student loan forgiveness program, it's really for where people that have given up on ever paying off their student loan debt, that's where they go to financially die. Because even though you're in the student loan forgiveness program, the interest still accrues at the same rate. So this is what it doesn't make anything. They give you, and they're not doing anything. I want people to understand, student loan forgiveness programs are not doing anything to anybody. You're doing it to yourself. If you go into a student loan forgiveness program and you don't believe you could take whatever the amount of student loan debt you have, if you don't believe you have the ability to earn that much money, whatever your student loan debt is, between the years of 10 years and 25 years of your life, that's a different problem. That's because you can't see negative numbers. You clearly don't believe in yourself, clearly. And they also say 99% get denied. And you pay, the interest still accrues at the same rate, and you pay little to nothing per month on payments. What's that say to you? You're going deeper. You're going into debt at a faster rate going in the student loan forgiveness program. You're going by going into the program, you has just sped your loan compound rate up by doing that. You don't know that because you can't see negative numbers. You don't know that. And then you go out on top of that, put your student loans into student loan forgiveness program, and then go out and finance a house with an FHA mortgage. Do you know at what rate you're going into debt? You have no idea how fast you're going into debt. That's like light speed. All the while, you're not having a clue because you can't see negative numbers. You have no idea what you're doing. None. That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking it just be a statement. SMD, the ability to see negative numbers, period. Who cares if they understand it or not? You know what I'm saying? Because if I put it in a form of a question, I guess you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. What is back in the 70s or 80s that they stopped including student loans in the bankruptcy? I don't know. That's why they don't let you pay off student loans with a credit card, because if you could do that, they know you would put all your student loans on a credit card and then file for bankruptcy. That's why they don't allow you to do that. That's why you can't pay your student loans with a credit card. The only way to pay them off, you have to work hard and pay them off. That's the only way I did. That's the only way I did. I had to double down, sacrifice, because I wanted them out of my life. So I sacrificed. I did what most wouldn't do. I moved out of my fancy high-rise apartment, sold my car, moved in with my sister in a room in my 40s. Boy, the slaves, they'll talk bad about you. Oh, look at you. You don't own nothing. Oh, my God. Now your sisters, they make up all kind of stuff. They have no idea. You know why they're saying that? Because they can't see negative numbers. That's why they say things like that. They don't know they're in debt. But I wanted those student loans paid off ASAP. So I did what it takes. I did the things that the majority would never do. They would never do that. Moving with your sister and quit a perfectly good working 6-figure job? Nope, I'm never doing that. I know you'll be in debt until you're dead because you can't see negative numbers. You know how many people refinance their house so many times they lost count? Do you know how many people do that? While at the same time, they believe the housing values that increase or go down somehow affect them. After financing a house 3, 4, 5 times with a subprime mortgage. The reason why they believe in housing market prices, because they can't see negative numbers. That's why. Anybody you know that has student loans older than their house, they obviously can't see negative number, because that's impossible. You can't buy a house with student loan debt. That's impossible. So you're probably thinking, what do you mean? If I never pay off my student loan debt, I can never own a house? Yes, you can never own a house if you don't pay off your student loan debt. That's correct. Yes. With that knowledge armed in mind, you can either accept it, or you're like, oh, I better do something to earn the money to get rid of that. That's what you got to do. Now, I know slaves, when they listen, they're like, oh, LJ, what's your net worth? And well, how much money you have? All you need to know is I got $1. My net worth is $1. So if any of you guys coming on this channel and thinking, oh, how is he telling everybody to get rich if he ain't wealthy and rich? You don't know nothing. All you need to know, to you, my net worth is $1. That's all you need to know. And it's more than you. $1 in the bank. Just know my net worth. I have $1 in my bank account. That's all you need to know. They don't, and they never will. That's part of it, Kim. You're right. They won't do what it takes. It takes sacrifice. That's what makes this gift so powerful, the ability to see negative numbers. I would have never known this gift would have existed had I not did the sacrifice to get out of debt. I would have never known that ever. I feel good. I only have grocery shopping debt. That's not even, don't include things that keep you alive. Okay? Food is not debt. Debt is paid off monthly. Plus, while I already have a job, I have companies calling me to interview me at the same time. Thanks, says you're welcome. Life is totally different. I guarantee you, when you go on interviews and you're debt free, the people that are interviewing you, they will know that you are different than everybody else. Why? Because you can see negative numbers. That's why. You're interviewing them too. You're coming there. You're walking in. This is my salary requirements, and I'm coming to see if I even want to work for your company. That's why. Now, the people that are interviewing you, they probably in debt too. They probably have no idea why you're different. They won't be able to tell. They won't know you have the ability to see negative numbers. That's why the energy coming off of you in an interview will be different. You won't be nervous that, oh, I hope they like me. No, that's not. No, you come accordingly, dress nice and smelling good, or whatever you need to do, right? But the energy that's coming off of you would be like, I don't need this job. I don't need it. No, be like, I know if I work here, this job is a tool. I'm only here for one purpose, to build myself and get some money to build whatever I'm going to build. Respect to you, man, inspiring me. I turned 30 today. Congratulations, man. Brand new. Have no other debt than my $12,000 student loan debt. My plan to pay it off in the next 24 months. Nice. And 30, let me tell you something. At that age, 30, TV tries to tell you that you need to be married with a house and a dog and the kids and the college. No, that's a program. Don't follow that program. Right now at 30 is when life begins. 30 with this knowledge and $12,000 worth of debt, you're ahead of millions of people right now. Financially ahead of millions of people. That's what you need to see. And the ability to see negative numbers, you're ahead of millions. You're right, Atticus. You guys are gonna hear me say that all the time on panels, because slaves love to ask, how much money do I have? What's my net worth? I'm gonna always tell them $1. That's my net worth. What about the Kiyosaki ideology of good debt versus bad debt? Do you agree with it? And now that's a very good question, hands versus food. This is what I want you guys to really understand this. Robert Kiyosaki is not talking about personal debt. Robert Kiyosaki is not talking to slaves. Robert Kiyosaki is not talking to people that can't see negative numbers. Robert Kiyosaki is talking about business debt. He is not talking about personal debt. He is most definitely not talking to people who can't see negative numbers. He's not talking to those people. I know exactly who Robert's talking to. He's talking to people that can see negative numbers. Robert Kiyosaki is not going to say, hey, by the way, to listen to me, step one, you must own yourself. He's not going to start there. If you don't know that, that's your problem. If you don't know that you can't do anything, if you have student loan debt, you can't do anything Robert Kiyosaki's telling you. You can't. That's mathematically impossible. You are in debt. All debt is bad for you. Every single bit. If you have student loan debt and it's your oldest debt, every single debt you accrue from there is bad for you. That's bad. I agree with Robert Kiyosaki. I agree with Grant Cardone. Like, even when Grant Cardone came on talking about, hey, rent, I rent, house is a detriment, and don't own a house. He's telling you the truth, but he's not telling you the whole thing. People that can't see negative numbers, they don't know to stop and ask Grant, hey, Grant, you're rich. Why are you renting? Who owns the company that you're renting from, Grant? They don't know to ask that question. I guarantee you, whoever Grant's renting from personally, he's renting from a company that he owns. That's what he's really saying. He owns where he lives, but not personally. He doesn't personally own where he lives. But him not telling you, that's part of business. Okay, that's business. If you can't see negative numbers, that's your problem. Exactly. I'm the one interviewing them. Exactly. That's how it works, Atticus. Exactly right. You're there. They say you ain't nervous, you ain't tripping, you ain't crossing your fingers, hoping kissing ass with the manager or the whoever's there. You're not, oh no, you're not there to do any of that. You're like, hey, here's my salary requirements. And hey, and you probably start interviewing the side people. Hey man, how you like your manager? And the manager could be sitting right in the room. You'll say, how do you like your manager? Good debt being leveraged against income producing property. And try to stay, this is what I want you guys to understand. Try to stay away from adding your feelings to debt. Calling debt good or bad, it counts on who it's coming from. They're just telling you how they feel about debt. Debt is just debt. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just debt. It's nothing, it's not good or bad, because everybody's version of good and debt bad is only according to themselves. Because some people will tell you that a house is good debt. No, it's not. That's bad debt. That's very bad debt. You're in debt. But a slave will tell you, a person that doesn't see negative numbers, which is a slave, they will tell you house debt is good debt. No, it's not. No, it's not. According what FHA mortgage? That's because you got a house with a FHA mortgage. You believe that that's good debt. That is not good debt. Try to stay away from using words like good and bad when describing debt, because the people that see negative numbers, I look at, when I hear people say that, you know what I think to myself? Why are you telling me your feelings about how you feel about debt? I don't need to know that. And people say it, people that can't see negative numbers, they say it all the time. Oh, this is good debt. This is good debt. That's bad debt. Why are you describing feelings? Why are you adding feelings to debt? I don't understand. Even business, what's good? Nothing's good. Nothing's good debt or bad debt. Nothing's good. It's just debt. Now, the only reason why debt is different than personal debt, because of taxes. There's different tax rules according from business debt and personal debt. That's the only thing that's different about debt. If you have a house with a mortgage, the bank owns the house. If you have a business with a business loan, the bank owns the business. There's no difference. You can people call themselves homeowners the same way they call themselves business owners. Only people that can't see negative numbers do that. You are just responsible. You are the loan owner for the business and the house. You are responsible for it. If you take out a loan of $10,000 to buy stuff, that won't make you a dime. You have taken on bad debt. Yeah, if you guys want to describe that, yeah, but if you want to do something that what I see, if you want to, the only way you would do that, because you can't see negative numbers if you do that, obviously. Yeah, he says that about his condo. Yes. Thanks for clarifying, because those who are my guys, yeah, those two are they're two of my guys too. But you got to remember who they're really talking to. The majority see them because they look like they have money. I'm not saying they do or they don't. I don't know. I've never talked to Robert or Grant. I don't personally know, but what I'm saying is that's why people follow them, because they look like they're rich. Whatever. Okay, whatever, right? But when they speak, they're not talking to people that can't see negative numbers. I promise you that. He's like, I love debt. When Robert Kiyosaki talk, I know exactly what he's saying, who he's talking to. I get it. Oh, he's talking about business debt. That's all. That's it. Because there's different taxes. You're not taxed on borrowed money. There's so many tax benefits to getting loans on the business side. There's a lot. Because without businesses create jobs. Of course, they're going to get tax breaks. Of course, because without you, people that can't see negative numbers have jobs. They need a place to work. So if you're a business creator, of course, you're going to get the benefits because you create the economy going. That's why, for example, when COVID happened, all the side stores, the small stores got closed, but like businesses like Costco, Walmart, the big, they can't stop. You know why? They create jobs. Oh my God, how come Walmart's not being closed down? Because they create money. That's why. Can you imagine what would have happened if all the Walmarts were forced to close down? Can you imagine what would have happened? That can't happen. Costco's, that can't happen. No, that can't happen either. Oh, why is the little guy? Because they don't own shit. That's why. If you one of the people that when COVID hit and you were out of business in a month, you were out of business well before that month. You've been out of business for years if 1 month could take you out. Why is that? Because you can't see negative numbers. That's why. Being free means you can walk away anytime. Nobody owns you or your time. Nobody, if they don't own you, they don't own your time. The freedom is to walk away. Yep, walk away. Yeah, I can tell by your questions. You got really good questions. And a lot of people ask me that, why did Robert talk about good and bad debt? Because he's not talking to you, slave. He's not talking to you. He's talking to me. He's talking to people like me. Okay, Robert, I'll come see you when I have some money. Right now I ain't got no money, so I can't really do anything Robert's talking about. True, tax considerations are a must. Taxes, you can't save money on taxes at all. If you're in debt, if you have student loan debt, it's 100% impossible for you to save money on taxes. It takes money to lower yourself in your tax bracket. And if you have no money, you can't do it. Why? You can't see negative numbers. That's impossible for you. When you have money, that's the only 100% guaranteed on returns, taxes. Also consider inflation in your calculation. You don't even have to, this is what I'm saying, Atticus, you don't really have to pay attention to inflation and all that other stuff. All you have to do is pay attention to the slaves. That's all you got to do. As long as you understand that currency in any form doesn't exist for slaves. If that doesn't exist, neither does inflation. That's just some made up term for slaves to keep them lost and wandering. This is what it really is. Okay. Since they don't know, they can't see negative numbers. They just attach on many other things, which is important. Inflation, the fiat currency, the world, whatever to keep them busy, from looking in the mirror. Whatever it takes to stop them from looking in the mirror, that's what it takes. And I get it. I'm not against it. I'm not against that at all. It's absolutely brilliant. I love how it works. It's absolutely phenomenal. What's up, Gabriel? When they say good debt, it's because the debt has given them a controlling interest in an income producing asset, not that I have any, just explaining what Kears. Yeah, they're trying to explain that, but what people don't really understand, you have to own the asset that you're talking about. Unless you can buy the asset is not yours. Like many people believe, like they buy a house and then the housing market goes up. They buy a house with a mortgage. And they believe since the value of that house is increasing, they think their asset is increased, and they actually put that on their portfolio. If you don't have the money to buy the house, though, there's only one way to buy a house, that's cash. If you don't have the money to buy a house, it's not yours. The asset is not yours. It's the bank's. It doesn't become yours until the bank is paid back every single dime that they've invested. I agree. I shouldn't even call it good or bad because I have some debt. Yeah, just don't call it good or bad. Just understand, debt is debt. And if you have debt, you don't own you. Somebody owns a piece of you. Whoever you own that debt to, they own a piece of you until you pay them back their money. My husband and I have been down, and I've been down that mortgage road, and we are ecstatic that we are off. We are off that damn road. Oh, so you paid off your house? Is that what you're saying? Or are you guys on the trail to do it? Listen to LJ, people, please. What he is saying is how math works. Be debt free, totally debt free. Once you're debt free, you will have the ability to see negative numbers. That's the gift. You'll be able to see something millions of people don't see. That's just the way it is. That's just what it is. The wealthy are not holding you back. They're not mean people. They're not hoarding all the money. No, the wealthy can see negative numbers. That is it. The tax system is designed to incentivize entrepreneurs to create jobs, housing, etc. That's why they get tax incentives. That's true. Taxes are the backbone of our economy. That's why you can go to prison for tax evasion. And I said this earlier, so you guys can understand this, and I try to do it in a way that you can see it, but it's very difficult when you can't see negative numbers. I want you to stop being scared of the IRS, and I want you to look at the IRS as like IRS agents, like referees. They are here to make sure you do the correct things in this particular system in the US. No different than the football referees. Now, those of you that are sports fanatics, right? Say like you're playing football and somebody face masks. That's what the referees are for, to tell the people that are face masking other people. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's against the rules. 15-yard penalty. It's no different than in the US economy. If you do tax evasions, the IRS agent comes, they're the referees. Instead of a 15-yard penalty, they give you a 15-year penalty in the penitentiary. Why are the laws so stiff or so vicious? Because it's the backbone of the whole economy. And number one is the backbone. That cannot happen. Number two, you don't have to do it. That's why. You don't have to cheat. If they didn't force you to participate, you wouldn't participate. That's why you have to file taxes and pay your tax, because none of it would work if you don't. They have to force you to participate. That's why they take the money out of your check before you get it, because they know you wouldn't pay it. So if they take it right out of your check immediately, you have no choice. Once you own yourself, there is no going back. If you have student loan debt, you don't own yourself. The younger you understand this, the quicker the wealth you will be. My personal goal, this is my goal, to personally own nothing. That's my goal, to own nothing, to be renting from myself. Every time I say I'm renting, I want you guys, no matter what podcast I go on, whose channel, they're gonna say, "You're renting?" I'm gonna say, "Yes." "Oh, you ain't nothing. You don't own nothing." You know what I'm gonna say? "You're right. I own nothing." Then who are you to tell? I don't know, slave. I don't know what else to tell you. I own nothing. You rent? Yeah. Do you own a house? Nope. I sure don't. What's your net worth? $1. They're not going to understand what to do. Why should I listen to you? You don't have to listen to me, slave. I don't care about full ownership of a property. I care about the cash flow I get from that property paying off my personal living expense. Now, remember this, if you have a rental property with a mortgage on it, let me explain something to you so you can understand. Even if you put a renter in it, say like the rent's the mortgage is $1,000 for you, but you got somebody in there and you got them paying $2,000. Okay. Now, a slave will believe they're making $1,000 profit, cash flow. They'll say, man, I pay a mortgage and I got the renter paying a $2,000. I'm making $1,000 cash flow. No, you're not. Only people that can't see negative numbers say stuff like that. No, you're not. All you got to do is open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment, your rental property mortgage payment minus the mortgage balance, and hit equal. That's your profit right there. Your mortgage payment, your rental mortgage payment minus your rental mortgage balance, and hit equal. That is your profit. Every single month until the bank has paid back their money. Other than that, you ain't making no profit. Be careful about the people that tell you, oh, I got cash flow. You do? You own that property? No. As soon as they tell you no, you better stop listening to them. They can't see negative numbers. They think they're making a profit. No, they're not. The bank knows you don't make a profit until all of their money is paid back. That's when you become profit. But the debt is leveraged against income producing asset, not against me. The debt is paying off by the tenants. I get all that. On paper, you got to understand hands versus food. I understand what you're saying on paper. I'm telling you, according to the laws of mathematics. You do the paper, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting this, and okay, that's fine, do it on paper. But when you go against the calculator, I want you to put in your rental property payment minus your rental property balance and hit equal. And understand right there, as long as you're in the negative, you are in the negative. Try not to make it too complicated. Grant says himself, PITI, the actual net per unit is like 400. I just think people make it too complicated. You don't really have to make it that complicated. But since he controls 4,000 plus units, he gets a ton of dinero. Yeah. Always trust mathematics. People can talk a good game. Oh man, yeah, I got a duplex. I only pay 1,000. I got two people on the side paying 2,000 a month. That's 4,000 a month profit. Do you own that building? No. Then you ain't making no profit. You're not. What's your mortgage balance? Oh, about 400,000. Yeah, you are far from profit. Say it like this: you get most of these unconscious slaves. They'll go and get an FHA, some kind of FHA type mortgage to get a rental property, doing it all wrong, putting it in their own name. Say like they go get a duplex and they're paying, they get an FHA mortgage and they pay $1,000 a month for the whole duplex, but they put in two people on each side of the duplex, each paying $2,000. So they're going to think they're making $4,000 a month profit. They put no money down for this duplex, none, zero. The only way to buy anything is with cash. That's number one. Always remember that. But they didn't. So they'll put two people in there and they're thinking I'm cash flowing 4,000 according to who? You? Because my calculator says you are deep in the negative, deep. I understand what you're saying. Of course, you have subtract PITI from, yeah, but this is what I'm really saying, okay? If you have student loan debt, you're not making any profit on anything. Personally, I'm not saying you, hands for food. I'm just saying in general for people that are listening to this. If you have student loan debt older than your rental property, you're not making any cash flow. I want you to understand that you're not doing anything and you're thinking you're writing off all the stuff on taxes. No, you're not. You're not. I know it looks like that on paper when you submit your taxes and everything. I'm talking about according to the calculator. You're not making a profit on anything. Say like this, say like you have a rental property, right? And you're doing everything. I'm saying doing according to the IRS rules and regulations. Okay. I'm saying follow them, right? On paper, right? When you're done, you're submitting all your tax deductions and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then you submit it. This is what I want you to do. Open up your calculator, put in your rental mortgage payment and your rental mortgage balance and hit equal. That's your profit right there. Now, if you don't believe it, that's because you don't see negative numbers. I keep telling you guys I have the ability to see negative numbers. If you don't believe the calculator and you still believe you're making a profit, that's just your problem. That's your problem. That's why you probably believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, because this is what most of you guys do. You guys don't have money to buy a house, so you get a first mortgage. And then you take out a second mortgage to put down on a rental property. Check this out. You take out a second mortgage, 2 mortgages on 1 house. You didn't even realize you needed a mortgage because in the first place, because you didn't have the money to buy it. That's why you needed the first mortgage, right? And then you take out a second, take that money, and then go get a third mortgage because you want to put it down on a rental property. And then you say you believe you're making a profit. You pay $1,000 loan or whatever on the rental property, and you put somebody in there, say like they're paying $3,000. Let's just go extreme, and you're making $2,000. You think you're making $2,000, and you have 3 mortgages. And you believe you're making a profit. That's your problem. Why? Because you can't see negative numbers. You can't. You can't see negative numbers. That's the gift that S&D gives you, the ability to see negative numbers. Do you know how much a gift that is? That's a gift. I know I have a gift. And I'm sharing this gift. I'm sharing it. That's why landlords are losing their life savings in eviction. Yes, they are. What you guys don't know, they're just filtering you guys out. You guys been hanging on to properties for a very long time, barely making the payments. They're moving you out of the way. They're making room. They got a fresh new set of slaves that they need to get in these houses and properties to start it all over again. You guys been in there long enough, time to move you out. We got fresh young slaves coming up. They need to believe they're homeowners and business owners. You guys need to move out the way. You guys are in the way. Don't forget at 8 o'clock tonight, I'm gonna be on Young Grump's channel. There's the link. If somebody's out there pushing you to put your student loans in student loan forgiveness program so you can get a house, they want you to be just like them. That's why they're telling you to do that. They want you to be like them. If somebody's trying to push you to get an FHA mortgage, for example, you got to turn to them and say, do you have an FHA mortgage? When they tell you yes, that's why they want you to have one too. That's why somebody that owns a house, they're not going to tell you to suggest that you get an FHA mortgage. I promise you that. You're welcome, Monique. No, I'm saying Robert Kiyosaki's information is valid. What he talks about is correct. All I'm telling you, he's talking to people that can see negative numbers. He's not talking to people that can't see negative numbers. He's not talking to people like that. Like when you read, once you can see negative numbers, you go and read Robert Kiyosaki's tax preparer's book. I forgot the title of the book. Go read that book with different eyes, and you will understand everything he's saying in that book. You'd be like, oh, okay. People that buy those books, if you can't see negative numbers, you don't know what Robert Kiyosaki, his tax person, are writing in those books. You don't know what they're saying. Most people look at Robert and they think, man, what an a-hole. And no, he's not. He's not being an a-hole. He's just saying what he can see. When you get out of debt and you listen to people like that, you know exactly who's telling the truth, who's telling the mathematical truth. The majority of people can't see it. Hello, Sister George. Welcome. First time to the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are
I'm
welcome.
I'm so glad I caught you live.
I appreciate it.
Um, I've actually kind of had this question for a minute, for a couple, maybe about a month or so now. Recently, I'm trying to get out of debt completely, before the year 2021 is over with. So let me just explain a little bit of my situation. I went to pay off my student loan debt. And so I went to the US Department of Education's website, um, and I was in default for that debt, right? When I went to the US Department of Education's website, they referred me to the third party who ended up with who was responsible for collecting the debt, right? You following me so
Yeah, I'm
far?
following. I'm following.
Okay. Okay. So, I paid the complete balance that I saw on that website off, paid it completely off. I then logged back into the website and it was showing that I had a remaining balance, which the balance was ridiculously high. And I was like, that can't be possible. So I called them. They told me that that balance wasn't correct. When I logged back into it the next day, they had another balance. And so then they told me that my balance with the US Department of Education was paid off, but that I owed the third party who was responsible for collecting the debt, I owed them some money. And I'm trying to figure out, it wasn't on the website when I paid it, for the US Department of Education, and I'm trying to see if there's a way possible to fight that.
So when you log into your student loan website where the student loans were, it shows zero.
Yes, now it currently shows zero for the US Department of Education, but they're saying that their third party service actually has fees and interest on the debt that they were trying to collect for the US Department of Education.
Mm, mm, mm. Is that thousands of dollars or hundreds?
Oh, no, 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 no. Actually, the student loan was like $12,149.39,
Okay.
and the fees were 2,000 um $2,087 and change.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The way you're saying, I'm not sure if they are okay. Put it this way: if there is something that is actually attached to the student debt itself, because you're saying the student loan debt, it shows no balance when you log in there, right?
Right. But then the crazy thing is, had I not logged back into the website, the
Right.
US Department of Education's website, and did a little follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
if they hadn't had that debt discrepancy, because if you pay a debt off and then you log back in and it's saying that you owe a remaining balance,
Mm-hmm.
had they not had that discrepancy there, I wouldn't have even known that I owed
Oh,
anything
so they
to.
did have that discrepancy in there when you went back.
Right,
Oh,
right,
okay.
right.
Okay.
I wouldn't have even known that I owed anything to a third party service had
Gotcha.
they not had that discrepancy in there. Now I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that I can fight that?
Well, if you're if they're showing it, what I would do, I will call them up and try to work out some deal.
Okay.
Okay, don't try to avoid it and run and all that other stuff. Right? Try to just. I promise you, you want that should be priority. Especially if you're logging back into the U.S. Department of Treasury website and it's showing it. I say okay, it's valid for something. But I would call them up and say, hey, it is interest. Kind of work out some kind of deal. You might not end up having to pay that whole because it is interest and fees, but
Right.
don't ignore it.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Because getting out of debt completely for 2021 is still the goal. And actually the crazy thing is like it's kind of principle, or it was principle to a certain degree, because I'm like, well, this is what y'all had on the website as showing what the balance was. Um, how are you trying to penalize me for something that's on your website? If this is what the website is saying, and I
Right.
come to the website and this is the amount that it has, and I pay that full balance off, then it's kind of like, oh, you did that, but hey, we got a little bit more
I
we
think,
need you to do.
honestly, personally, I think they make it difficult on purpose because they
I,
did that to
I said
me,
the same
right?
thing.
Because they don't want you to pay it off. I promise you. They want you to carry student loan debt for the rest of your life. And they
Yeah,
make
I
it very
refuse.
difficult
I
because they did
refuse.
that to me. They really,
Ye-
I remember paying extra on my student loans per month, thinking, okay, if I pay extra, that means it's gonna come down. But when I didn't check on it for a year and I didn't see the balance didn't move, and I had to call them, I said, hey, I've been paying extra on this student loan debt. How come this balance is not coming down? Oh, you have to call us and tell us that you want it on principal, not interest. I was like, what?
Wow.
What? I said, then what about all the money I sorry. I was like, okay. So you got to stay on it until you know for a fact and you have an email, a letter saying something that it is at zero.
Right,
Mhm.
absolutely. Because but it was one of those things that literally shocked me when I went back. And then I'm like, it needs to be some kind of class action lawsuit against them because it's actually fraudulent. Um, to be honest with you, I kind of see it as fraud. If I log into a website and you send me to a third party and you say, well, this is how much you owe. Well, why on that website don't y'all have the fees and whatever for that third party collection agency? All of that stuff should be included, or it should be at least listed on the
But you know
website.
what? Those are your feelings.
I know.
That's how you feel. And
Yes,
it is easy to get emotional. And when it comes to them, it doesn't matter how you feel. It's not a private business. They do what they want.
I see.
Right? And you can't do
I
anything
see.
about it. And if you try to sue them, you're only suing yourself because we are the government. You know what I'm saying? You're just suing yourself.
Right.
So just say, hey, maybe you will be able to get to pay less, but
Yeah.
and stay persistent. If you got to log into that, work with them, figure out how to make payments or whatever. If you got to log into that website every single day to make sure it's at zero, because that's exactly what I did. Even when I
Hmm.
paid it off, I kept checking back to make sure that they didn't add some other fee or whatever they trying to do, because they did try to do that.
Yeah, and that was the thing that probably shocked me the most. I paid the thing off and logged back in, and I almost hit the roof. So I was like,
What made you log back in and check though? What made you come back and check?
because I wanted to see the balance at zero.
Zero. Me too. I did too. That's
Yeah.
exactly
So
why.
when I logged back in and they still had a balance there, yeah, you could have bought me for a nickel and got change back. I was like, oh no, not there's no way.
You know what you
And
should do when you log in and see those zeros? You should take a screenshot, print out a page, just something that you have.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah.
already know.
Okay.
That's going straight to the I've printed out every discrepancy that they've had on the
Okay.
website as well, just in case.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, and then when you call up to the US Department of Education, man, uh
You got transferred 1,000 times. What happened?
not even transferred 1,000 times, dealing with people that have a straight attitude when you're trying to explain the situation. Um,
You know why they can do that? Because they know you can't do nothing about it.
That's exactly what I
That's why.
figured. And I was trying to, I was like, well, let me see if SMD got some advice on this and see what
They
he
treat you
says.
they treat you accordingly. That's how they treat people with student loan debt. That's exactly how they treat it, because you
And
can't do anything but pay it off. You can't do
but
it.
you know what I said? I said most Americans don't even pay off their student loan debts. But
No.
imagine paying off your student loan debt and still being penalized. I was like, you can't make this shit up.
Right, because they
You
don't want
know?
to let you go. They won't
Yeah,
let you go. Because if you pay it off, guess what? They don't make no more money.
yeah, but yeah, I'm determined. It is a absolute priority. You know how
Priority.
I just got married and everybody's like,
Oh,
you know, if she went to
congratulations.
school. Thank you so much. You
Mm-hmm.
know, people are like, if she went to school, she got student loan debt and she got all this debt. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going into the plan was to go into the situation completely debt free. But
Right.
I got a little, you know, and it's not much, but to me it was like the principle behind it, and I just kind of wanted to see what your thoughts were on it and
No.
get your opinion.
By
So
doing what you're
I'll
doing,
take
I
your
want you to
advice
look at it
though.
this way. By doing what you're doing, paying that off, always look at it this way. You have done something millions of people will never do and never even think about doing it. You're financially ahead of all those people that have student loan debt.
I absolutely take the
Mhm,
advice though. I
mhm.
surely appreciate it,
You're
but
welcome. Don't give up.
that's
Keep
where I'm at.
looking. Keep checking. Be like, hey, work out a deal. Is it zero? Is it zero? And then once I was comfortable at zero, I was like, cool. I stopped checking it after I knew it was at zero for me.
Yeah, but that's exactly where I'm at with it, because I'm like, you can't you can't make this up.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
wow.
You can't. They couldn't do that in a private business, right? They couldn't say,
No.
oh, you got another balance. You'd be like, hey, okay, no, you ain't getting. But the government, the student loan, they can do what they want.
Honey, I got a real lesson in it then. They gave me a quick lesson in it, like, give me they demoted me. And I felt some type of I really felt some type of way about it. I've been fussing ever since it
Feelings
happened.
all wrapped up in it.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, man,
And you know what they're like? Know what they're like? We don't care how you feel. Well, this is what you're gonna do. And
that's how the women on their phone was treating me. Like, and
yeah,
you owe us
yeah,
2,000 and change.
yes.
How do you want to arrange these payments?
Yeah,
Mm.
because you got to remember how many people calling every single day thinking they can do something about it without paying it off, and they can't.
Right, right. So, thank you so much for your advice. I definitely will follow it, and I'll
You're
be
welcome.
looking for the zeros because
You are welcome.
that's straight goals.
There's not many people you can talk about that. How many of your friends you can talk about paying off your student loan debt, but with?
I don't think I have a one because most of my friends are like of higher education. I think the majority of them either masters, and I got a couple with doctorates.
Yes.
So I can't talk to any of them,
Nope.
and
Nope.
I won't even tell them that I'm out of debt. You know.
You can't even tell them that you paid off your student loan debt. They'll
No,
be jealous of you.
no, I won't even say. So, you
You
know,
can't say something that should be celebrated. Ain't that messed up?
no, I mean, this is a conversation straight for YouTube. Like, I can tell my YouTube peeps, I won't even tell people in my real life that it's done. So,
Nope. Well, thank you for
crazy.
coming on. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Yeah, I'll be seeing Sister George in the other chat rooms and stuff. I appreciate her jumping over here, man. That's nice. I like that. And I want you guys to, like, those of you guys that are maybe have started paying off your student loans or thinking about it, let me tell you something. You are going to have to be resilient. They're not going to make it easy. First, you got to find them, see who's handling your student loans. They're shifted around and sold all the time. You got to stay on it. If you're planning on paying them off, you got to keep checking the website. It's even though you send in payments, sometimes there's interest added and some third party. You got to stay on it until you know for a fact it is done. That's what I had to do. I always try to tell the story to people so they can understand, because I was just like you. I had student loans and I was afraid to look at them and didn't want to know the balance. And I just naturally started. And I'm going to give you guys a hint if this is happening to you so you can understand. All right. What I did was say, like, I'm going to just make up a number because I can't really remember. I paid off my student loans so long. So like my student loans were $200 a month. Okay. I'm just low number to keep it simple. and I wanted to get them paid off faster. So say like I started paying $400 a month. So in my mind, I thought, okay, $200 pays the normal payment, and then the extra $200 would be applied to principal, bringing down my balance. But I didn't call and ask him this. Okay, I just assumed that's how it works in the private world. So let's try it in this world. So I remember I just did it for a year, but here was the indication that it wasn't. Okay, it was going to principal. I mean, excuse me, it was going to interest. This was the trick. Okay, I noticed when I was paying extra payments, and this is how you know it's happening to you. If your due date of your payment keeps getting pushed further and further and further out, that means they're taking your extra money and they're applying it to principal. You need to call them ASAP, because when I found that out, I went to that, I called them up, I said, hey man, what's up with these extra payments? They were like, oh, when you do that, we apply it to interest. I was like, who in the world would pay extra money to go to interest? Sorry, sir, that's what it is. But now that you have called us and told us that you wanted to go to principal, we will now apply it to principal. I said, what about all the extra money I was giving you extra? Sorry, sir. Sorry. Shout out to Sister George for the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming over here, because I see you're active in a lot of other channels, and I appreciate you taking the time coming over here and the $20 super chat. So thank you very much. I'm glad I could help you with that. Man, I don't want that to happen to you. That's what they did to me. You know how a year of paying extra money, and oh well, I wanted to cry. I wanted to literally cry that extra money went nowhere, went to interest. I asked the lady on the phone, who in the world would pay extra money to go to interest? They's like, sorry, sir, those are just the rules. I was like, okay. I stayed on that page every single month after that. When they got away with that, I logged in every single month of payment. I called to see what went to principal, what went to interest, and then I followed it all the way to zero. That's what I did. You could sue them for that. I never heard of that before. You can try. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. I'm sure when you signed up for student loan debt, somewhere in the paperwork, I bet you that information's in there. Who reads all the paperwork when they sign up for student loans? Not many people. Not many people sit down and read through all that thick paperwork. What it basically says is this: if you don't pay us back, we own you for the rest of your life. That's what student loan debt says. Now, mind you, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I'm just giving you a mathematical viewpoint. You sit down in student loan debt and sign the paperwork. It basically says we own you until you pay us back all this money. It sounds illegal. Sure does. Yeah, it does. But whatever. You have to read the fine print. I did, told them principal only. You got to read the fine print. You better believe you do. And if you can't see negative number, that's your problems. You can't see negative numbers. That's your problem. Student loan debt is how they make slaves. And they're not going to, once you wake up, trust me, I promise you this. I promise you they know who finally wakes up. Because you go years and years and years making the minimum monthly payments and all this other stuff. And then one year you're throwing thousands of dollars a year at the student loan debt. They know you woke up. Because they're like, you're paying $200 a month, $200 a month, and then all of a sudden you go from $200 a month to about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. They're gonna know that you woke up, and they're gonna make it the most difficult thing for you to get out. They're going to make it the most difficult way. Oh, you should have did this. You should have called us. Oh, yeah, this third party, this, whatever they make up. It doesn't matter. You just you might be pissed. You got to go along with it. Okay. All right. I understand this. Do I have to pay the whole balance? Okay. Let's make some payment arrangements, whatever. You got to do whatever it takes to get out from under student loan debt. That is how they create slaves. Nobody's going to save you. The president's not going to save you. He wasn't there when you signed the FAFSA paperwork, was he? Was President Biden there when you were signing FAFSA paperwork 20 years ago? No, he's not. He's not going to save you. Let me reiterate this so you guys can really understand. There is no other channel like SMD channel on YouTube. There is no other channel. There's no other post channel person that's going to tell you that they have the ability to see negative numbers because they don't know they can't see negative numbers. Slaves don't know that. Slaves don't know they can't see negative numbers. If they did, they would know they can't buy a house with student loan debt. They would know they're not a homeowner with mortgages. They would know that. I already read that. Who are you talking about, Bobby Brown? Who soul? Who's these people? Who are you talking about? I know, Bob, that sounds horrible, but it has to be that way. It has to be that way. And Bob, you got to understand who you talking about. Who's soulless? Who? The government? We are the government. Most of you that talk about the government like a separate entity, why are you doing that? Who works at the government? Space aliens? Who works there? Dogs, cats, bugs? Who works at the government? People. If you could see negative numbers, you could clearly see that the government's not doing anything to anybody. All you got to do is be able to see negative numbers. Once you see negative numbers, nobody can fool you. Nobody can scam you. Like, I know this is off the subject. Like, let's just use example, multi-level marketing, okay? Multi-level marketing is legal. You can legally do multi-level marketing. But if you could see negative numbers, you would never do multi-level marketing. You would do let's say that. No, I take that back. If you could see negative numbers, you would do multi-level marketing very differently than when you can't see negative numbers. Like when I look at multi-level marketing, it's like barely legal because it makes no mathematical sense at all. It does if you can see. Now, let me make sure you understand it. If you can see negative numbers, you will know exactly how to work multi-level marketing. If you can't, it's against you. If you can see negative numbers, you can use it. It's not even a scam. It's not a scam. Like when when people call things scams, put it this way, and I'm not just on you cupcakes, I'm just saying in general. Once you can see negative numbers, nobody will be able to scam you. Nobody will be able to trick you. You won't think FHA mortgages are good. You won't keep your student loan debt for 20 years. You won't do that. Once you can see negative numbers and somebody comes at you with a multi-level marketing, the first thing you're gonna look at is the person that's trying to sell you multi-level marketing. Is that person in debt? Is that person probably can't see negative numbers. Can you imagine how many people are doing multi-level marketing and they have student loan debt? Can you imagine? Millions of people, millions. You can't do multi-level marketing if you have student loan debt. That's impossible. Can you see it already, Gabriel? I have a gift. I can see negative numbers. That's my gift. No, nothing. In the personal finance game, nobody's going to be able to do what I do. Because not nobody, excuse me. The majority are not going to be able to do what I do because I didn't create the system. So saying nobody that's ego. Okay, that's not. The majority will never be able to do what I do because they don't know it exists. You can't copy what you don't know exists. Like, say, for example, somebody does decide to copy me and they can't see negative numbers. It will be clear that they're copying me. Anybody that follows SMD and finds somebody that's trying to copy me, it'll be clear that they're copying me, especially if they can't see negative numbers, because that's the only thing they can do. They can't do something that they don't know exists. Trust me, cupcakes. I did multi-level marketing. I did all that. They sell it to you want to be rich. They do this. All of them do the same thing. They bring you to big conventions. They put the people on the stage that are diamonds, emeralds, rubies. They all come up with the same sob story. I was this. I was a single mom. I lived like this. They put up pictures of poor housing or whatever they do, and then they show you what they have today. It's the same thing. They're showing you everything that you guys want. First, they're showing that they live like you, and this is how they live now. That's all they're doing. It's business. It's nothing personal. It's just business. You got to think when people call things scam and stuff like that, you got to think it's not really a scam. They just don't see negative numbers. Whose fault is that? They all do the same thing. They get you to come on, get you to believe that you're going to be rich like the diamonds, emeralds, rubies people that you see on stage. And then they get you to sign up. Then they know the first people you're going to go to is the people that you know, your family. You're going to sign them up. And then you're going to burn out because they always make you keep. They also, in order to be part of it, they require you to buy the product that you're trying to sell. So you end up having stacks of this shit in your house that you can't sell, and then eventually you're going to quit. But all the people that you signed up are now part of the MLM. They're going to do the same thing, and then they're going to quit. It just keeps going on and on and on and on, all because you guys can't see negative numbers. That's why you guys keep doing it. I get it. It's brilliant, actually. MLM. That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, if I decided to do I would never decide to do an MLM because I just can't do that to people. But and I'm not saying you can't take this knowledge and be a person inside of an MLM. If you want to be the person up on the stage, I can teach you how to do that. I can teach you how to be one of the people on the stage at the conventions by giving you the ability to see negative numbers. That's how you'll be the person that the people in the crowd are trying to be. I can teach you now how to be the person in the audience. You could be the person on the stage. It's not illegal what they're doing. MLMs are not illegal. They're illegal. As long as whatever they're doing is legal, more power to them. Shout out to Omanike. Appreciate that. You're right. I already am. Don't believe social media with the big houses, nice cars, and flexing on people. 97% of people are faking. Yes, they are. I'm in my 40s, no debt, and rent an apartment. Oh, you rent. Oh man, you rent. Okay, too bad. People that I grew up with say I could have bought a house by now, and I threw away my money renting. I love slaves to finance their homes. Exactly. Ain't that funny? If you're a person out there, that are telling people you have a mortgage and you're out there telling people they're throwing away money on rent, you have no idea who you're talking to. You have no idea who you're talking to. Are you talking to a person that sees negative numbers? Sorry, I'm texting. One quick second. I'm already there, Omanike. You're right. I'm already there. I'm already the biggest financial person in the world. The world just doesn't know it yet. That's it. How many people you think has the ability to see negative numbers? Not many. Not many. Sorry, replying to somebody real quick here. Not many. You see Sister George come up here and say about the stories. You see the hassle they give you. They don't want to let you go. Because if you pay off your student loan debt, they make no money. Now, is there any more questions? If you're new to the channel, I strongly suggest you come up here. I can tell, Monique, I can clearly tell. You feel like your whole, trust me, once you have the ability to see negative numbers, your entire life is going to change. Entire life will change. No, I didn't get that deep, but I've seen people who did get in it, and yeah. I got in the MLM game a couple times the wrong way. If I go through my closet, I probably still got some MLM products somewhere buried in a closet somewhere that I never sold. You know, I think when it comes to names like that, I'm going to always say my net worth is $1. That way they never put me up to the Rockefellers and all that other stuff. You know, when you have money, do you really want slaves to know you have money? Come on, you don't really want them to know. You can't. This is what people forget. This is especially people with no money. Do you guys realize that you can walk? You guys can do things. You can walk through the park. You can take a drive. You can go to the mall. You can go to a fair without people bothering you. Do you think people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, can you imagine how much they probably wish being able to go somewhere totally by themselves and not be bothered? You can go to a park with people and sit down on a bench and read a book. Do you think a famous rich person could ever do that? They can't do that. Can you imagine how much they must miss that? To be able to go to a crowded place and not be bothered? Can you imagine? And just not be bothered. I like my peace. I like going to the park. I like sitting down and reading, being out in nature, people passing by saying hello. It's like this. I get it, like living in South Carolina, right? The majority, there's people here. When I first got down here, I started seeing people staring at me a lot, right? And I didn't know why. I just thought, okay, it must be my demeanor, you know, just the way I carry myself or whatever, right? Until finally one person said to me, you know, you look like, I was like, no, who do I look like? You look like Darius Rucker. He's a black country music star, right? And I didn't know who Darius Rucker was, so I had to look him up. I was like, oh, okay, I do kind of look like him. But for the life of me, I didn't know. And then after I found out that information, almost every place I go, maybe one or two people actually said something, but I get these stares. Now I know why they're staring at me. Yeah, like, you look like Darius Rucker. One lady, when I was in Costco and I had a mask on and she saw me, she was like, you look like Darius Rucker. I said, oh yeah, I get that all the time. She was like, she went to pull down my mask because she didn't believe me. She thought I was joking. She thought I was Darius Rucker trying to pretend not to be Darius Rucker so I won't be bothered. Can you imagine? They probably do that on purpose. Hey, yeah, I've been told I look like him, but I'm him or her, but I'm not them. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Any questions? We've been on here about 2 hours, and again, I got a show with Young Grump at 8 o'clock tonight on his channel. Here, I'm gonna post it in the. Here is his channel. 8 o'clock tonight. He's having me. I'm gonna be a guest on his show. Let's see here. Here's my website. If you need a consultation, you can follow me on Instagram. If you want an SMD shirt, you see that scrolling down at the bottom there. I am going to be putting up the shirt, the statement, the ability to see negative numbers. That's definitely going on the shirt. Go check it out. There's the website. I got a whole bunch up there, Cupcake. Go check them out. There's the link scrolling at the bottom. Here, I'll put it in here. It's in the details of every video too, but let me post that in there so you guys can actually just, so I know people just don't want to type in all that stuff. So just a second, let me get this real quick here. Damn, I thought I put that there. Wow, okay. All right. T-shirts. Oh, there we go. No, that's, yeah, there it is. Okay. Here is the link to the T-shirts. What's up, Mr. Mosman? There's a link to the shirts right there. I got a whole bunch of shirts up there with different statements. All of them are the same design, but each one have a different statement. So you guys get to choose what statement you want, okay? But I am going to put up a few more statements. Probably the day or tomorrow. I'm going to have them made first, and then I got to put them up there. But just go check out the shirts, man. They're going to have statements. Remember, these are going to, these shirts are going to have, they have statements never seen before. Plus, the more people that buy them, you'll be able to identify other like-minded people, right? You kind of, just to see them out. If you see somebody else somewhere wearing a SMD shirt, you're going to pretty much know that they also see negative numbers too. So they're available right now, Cupcakes, right now. Those of you that don't know, T-shirts available right now, anytime you want. Multiple different statements. You got plenty of choice. Same design. You know, I'm not gonna I think as soon as, you know, after these shirts sell for a while, then I'll come out with a different design, of course, but the statements will always be available. Me too. I love going out there. And I love being not bothered. I just love it. You know, sometimes I just want peace and just quiet. And, you know, maybe you just don't want to talk to people. You just want to be quiet. Any questions? Any questions before I get off? Any questions? All righty. Guess we're gonna wrap this up. Appreciate everybody coming. Thank you, Sister George, for jumping on and participating today. Much appreciated. I just put it in there and it's scrolling on the bottom, Wayne. See the bottom of the screens right there, and I just posted it in the chat. I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I just posted it in the chat right there. There's the link to the shirts. Click on like catalog. It's kind of, I just put it up there. I'm learning how to work Shopify, but you should be able to find the shirts pretty easily, and you'll be able to see all the different statements under the inside the area there. LJ, I still drive my 2003 Acura TL, 297,000. I want people to think I'm broke. Yeah, I mean, you could do two things. You can have an older car look really, really clean. Like when I drive my truck, which is 26 years old now, when they see my truck, Yeah, it's 26 years old, but they can clearly see that it's not owned by a person with no money. Okay, it's crystal clear of that, because it's 26 years old, but it doesn't look 26 years old. It's easy to maintain when you don't have debt and no car payments. You know what I'm saying? Anything goes wrong, interior needs to be replaced, you just go and pay and get it done and get it fixed. You know? Any questions? Here's my email. Here's my Cash App for you guys that I always forget to put that there. Cash App is savings minus debt. Cash App money sign savings minus debt. Don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate it. Okay, says LJ, I like watching you, but I cringe when you talk into slaves. Oh, when you talking to slaves. You know what? What do you mean by cringe? What do you mean? Like I'm gonna get on them, or what do you mean by that? It's gonna be much different now for you guys, to give you guys a heads up. When I talk to slaves on panels, you guys gonna know when I come in there. The only thing I'm gonna say is that I have the ability to see negative numbers, right? Not even gonna say, hey, you don't trust math, because still that gives them an opinion. Yes, I do trust math. You don't trust. You hear them. You don't trust math. No, I see negative numbers and you don't. That's it. Period. And then I'm gonna show them on a calculator. I appreciate that, Omanike. I always appreciated those you guys that Cash App me after watching a video of mine. You know, a Cash App will come out of nowhere. I appreciate that. Okay, much appreciated. That's amazing when that happens. I ain't gonna lie. That's when you know that people appreciate the content. Hey, I might not need your consultation or can afford your consultation right now, but I want to give you something because you changed my life, and I appreciate that, man. That's really appreciative. All right, man. You guys don't forget about 8 o'clock tonight, Young Grump's channel. Appreciate you guys. See you there. All right, later.